Hello. So it's been a very long time since I've done a full tank shot and just kind of showing the overview of what my tank looks like now. And this is after almost 5 years of running. So I set this up in November of 2017 and here we are now in September of 2022. So just shy of 5 years. And as you can see there, a lot of the corals, if you've been following my channel over the years, have really filled out there, especially that guy. In the back, that gold frog spawn, that big frog spawn back there. That thing, believe it or not, I've actually taken a number of heads off of it a few months ago, and that thing just doesn't care. It just continues to grow and expand and poof out. And it's actually been moved just to allow space for the hammer coral that I've had here for a really long time as well. That one had a bunch of heads taken off of it as well. Probably 8 or 9 heads came off of this hammer coral in the front just a few months ago, so if it seems like it's smaller, that's why, is because it had a whole bunch of heads taken off of it. But coral wise, as it sits right now, the current count is 3 different types of mushroom corals, 4 different types, well, 3 different types of blastos, but 2 distinct different heads there from that one and that one right there. Hammers, I believe I am up to 4 now. I've got this bright green wall hammer. I've got this one that I've had, honestly, since almost I started the hobby, this sort of purple green one there. I have this little Goldie here, and then this little green and purple guy right down here. So those are my 4 hammers. And then frog spawns. This is that sort of purple pinkish frog spawn that I've showed in videos in the past, and it's really filled out. It's almost reaching the point where it's up against the glass here. I have that sort of bicolor splatter frog spawn that we moved back there because it was growing into the glass, and it's still doing pretty well. I also have this octospawn. It's hasn't branched out quite as much as I wanted it to. Part of it is just because it's really hot in my area right now, so it seems to like it when it's a little bit cooler. So I'll have to try and adjust that in the next month or so. There's this frog spawn right here, the green with purple heads, and it's just kind of gone crazy. That thing started out as like a 1.5 head frag, and we actually took several heads off of it a few months ago, and it just keeps sending out new heads. So it's pretty full. Let's see, what else do we have? We also have, of course, this Duncan coral that at one point in time was fully retracted for several weeks on end. We didn't think it was going to make it. Well, it bounced back and bounced back with a vengeance. So I've lost count of how many heads this thing has put out. This blasto coral here, this red with green centers, it started out as a 2-headed frag that I pulled out of my local fish store that they got from a tank teardown. And as you can see, it's basically turned into its own little colony. Every time I turn around, this thing's popping a new head out of somewhere. There's my blasto that's bounced back from the dead. I have another video on that. There is the green and orange blastos here as well. There's 2 of those, and that one's put out a new head on the side. So anyways, coral-wise, it's done pretty well. Fish-wise, I'm currently at only about 4 fish. At some point in the future, I may add another one there. I usually run my tanks on the lighter side for stocking for fish, partially due to aggression and partially just due to, other issues with things like parasites and stuff like that. You can quarantine and do all those sorts of things. But ultimately, there's just other stressors and aggravating factors there, so I tend to like my tanks on the lighter side for stocking. So, one spot foxface, pencil wrasse, which is a relatively new addition, the coral beauty who's been in there the longest, as well as the Christmas wrasse who's down there poking around. He's the newest addition to the tank. I've had him for only a few months. And anyways, those are the 4 fish I have. I did, after my Melanaris wrasse passed on, picked up another cleaner shrimp, and he has done pretty well in the tank. He does more of his cleaning work at night. He's tried to clean the current residents, but honestly, there's not a lot of interest from the current residents. They don't like being tickled by the antenna there that he has. So he unfortunately has kind of had to come up with another purpose for his existence, and so he spends a lot of his time just kind of hanging out during the day. He spends a lot of time up here on the return and the overflow, and he likes to get food bits there, and I do target feed him just to make sure he's getting enough food, since he's not really getting much from cleaning. He does also get going around at night where he's actually picking up leftover bits and things like that. So he does actually do a cleaning service for the tank, just not a traditional one. I have a few times surprisingly caught my coral beauty there, who has tried to occasionally take the little exploratory nip at him. Nothing where he's like targeting him and trying to, really go after him, but just the curiosity thing. But I have caught him a few times where he's gone up to the cleaner shrimp and let him go in and clean his mouth and everything else. But unfortunately, it's so rare and it's so difficult to try and catch on camera. I haven't been able to see it. One of the other things that I really enjoy from my cleaner shrimp here, he likes getting up on this red mushroom coral that's gotten really big periodically, and it's almost like he's hanging on and going for a ride just as it waves in the current there. So it's kind of fun to watch him, and I'll try and get a video of that at some point if I catch him doing it. But anyways, that's just kind of a tank overview and update. And as I said, it's been running, this tank has been running for nearly 5 years, and a lot of the stuff like the rock work, a couple of those big corals there that have lots of heads, those 2 guys right there, those were all from my original 36-gallon when I first started the hobby. So, but beyond that, everything else has come in since I've had this 90-gallon tank. Still running, as I have for over 4 years now, the AI Hydra 26 HDs on that rail mount up there. So if anyone's curious, that's what I'm using for lighting. And anyways, that's just kind of a brief overview of the tank, and that's all I've got, and thanks for watching.